Sagittarius, what's going on, my people? How's everybody's day going, man? If you get a chance, drop in the comments how your day is going. Drop something that you're excited for, and maybe even drop something in the comments that's kind of like something that you've been critical about yourself, but that you're working on and that you're working towards. And I think that those are some good practices just so we can get into like good spirit. Like, oftentimes we don't have enough conversations centered around like things that we're happy about, but oftentimes there can be those things that we're overly critical towards ourselves on, or that we may not be as happy about, but we're actually working on. And those things I feel like don't even get celebrated enough because it's always about like what you're completing versus like the process that you're going through. So if you get a chance, share that in the comments for your boy. It is your boy Demarcus, man. Shout out to all the listeners again. For those that don't know, my YouTube page is the Multifacets of Demarcus. My Instagram personal page is that man Marco. My food page is Mashing Up with Marco, and both of those are also on TikTok as well. And for my newcomers, definitely go and check out my other episodes. I really just share about my life and my perspectives and just me just growing as an individual. Like this isn't something where I'm trying to like tell people what to do or try to like push somebody in a direction of like how the podcast, dating podcast and all that go. I'm just sharing my life perspectives. And hey, if anybody disagrees, if anybody disagrees with me or has any perspectives that they want to share, that's what this platform is for. But it's more so showing people like how they can be multifaceted in thinking, be able to express what it means to just be an individual that's just has multi layers. But for me as a multifaceted, I know that like who Demarcus is, what that brings in general. And so I just share that just here with people. Just want to create a space where others can feel heard as well. But I know for this topic, like a lot of people may want to hear it from me, but in general, this is something that's just talked about a lot. I don't even like talking about dating and relationship stuff, but I'm gonna briefly get into it. So today I'm just gonna talk about like what I find excited about, what I find exciting about like being single and being in relationships, right? And I'm not gonna get into. Let me preface this. I'm not gonna get into any details about my status, where I'm at, who I'm with, who I've been with. Like that's not the point of this. This is just talking from a broad standpoint about how I view, relationships and how I view being single and what that looks like for me. And so, I will say like right now where I'm at, I am single at 29. I said I wouldn't share, a whole lot of stuff, but I don't mind sharing that. I am single at 29, and I've been in relationships. I've had situationships, all that type of stuff. And again, not going to get into that, but what I will say is in today's generations, and I feel based on the conversations that I've had, it isn't just a today's generations type of thing. It's something that's happened over time. But we have social media that allows you to be able to see so much into people's relationships. But I think nowadays there's just so much a focus on, excuse me, finding love or having to be with someone. And I think that stands over top. Let me get some water real quick. Whew. I think that takes place of us actually taking time for ourselves and really investing it into us and being the person that we want to be. And in my previous episode, I talked about what it means to investing into yourself and being happy with who you are. And one thing that I don't like is how there's just so much that's just talked against like being single or being in relationships. I feel like you have people that are on both sides of the platform, but I don't think that there's like I don't think that one like outweighs the other and saying that one's better than the other. I think it just depends on how you utilize your experience. So, for instance, you have some people that are married, have kids, and then they'll shun people by saying, "Hey, I have this," or "This is what you should really strive for in life." And if you're single at a certain type of age, you did something wrong or whatever. And oftentimes, that happens with um, women way more, especially when they get in their 30s and go into their 40s and with a man, and then you start to see it now for men that can be in the to their 30s, well established, and don't have a woman. But I think that that's just pure ignorance, in my opinion, because we've put so much emphasis on finding love that people haven't even found love within themselves. And I'm a type of guy where I'm never searching for love. I'm just going to be real and just honest with y'all. Me searching for love is just something that doesn't exist, because the only love that I want to search for is the inner love within myself and then my spirit. Because if I can't love me, how can I love somebody else? And at the same time, nobody else can bring me happiness. And I don't know how many times we've seen these conversations where people thought that they had everything in the world. They had the family, they had the money, they had the expensive stuff, they had the materialistic things, but they felt that there was something still missing in life. And that's because they didn't have that self love and that self value. Now, if you have that, and you've been able to get to a point to where you truly value yourself, but you're also able to hold yourself accountable, and you're able to be real about your wrongdoings, or maybe being real in areas that you lack. Hey, you know what you are? You're a true human being. And you're someone that's saying, you know what, I know that I'm not perfect, but I'm not trying to show up as perfect. And I'm trying to show up and potentially be with somebody where we can have indifferences, or we can be imperfect, but we can grow together. What's more beautiful? What's more beautiful, that, or trying to be in a situation where you're just trying to find love to fulfill a fallacy that the world has wanted you to believe? So now you in this long-term situation. Now you don't even believe in yourself. Now you don't even love yourself, but then you trying to find love in another person. But that person can make any type of decision. They can do whatever. Things can change in life. So now you put so much value in this relationship and into this person. You never put value into you. Only thing you were doing when you were single is going out. You know what I'm saying? You focus on external validation. You just going and hooking up with people. That's all that you care about. So, of course, when you get into a relationship, you ain't gonna be well equipped. Why? Because you never valued anything. You never valued the main thing that mattered. But when you're single, let's start off being single. When you're single, that is time where you definitely should be selfish with yourself, going out, being able to have experiences. I know everybody, when they say have experiences, they talk about the sexual piece. But first, let's talk about just being able to put yourself out there and learning. Go to different events, talk to different people, date different people, have conversations with different cultures, learn more about your culture, go to different types of events. First, you got to be able to step out your comfort zone. I talked about this in the last episode. You've got to be able to go out and figure out what about you not only makes you happy, but what about you feels electric. Like, what about you, just like you, what is the energy that you feel before other people feel it? What do you like about yourself? Do you like the way in which you talk, the way in which you look, the way in which you feel, the way in which your charisma? Like, what about you makes you feel that you stand out before somebody else tells you? You know what I'm saying? And do you like that way in which you have a conversation where you smooth? Like, what do you like about you? Then, do you like the way in which um what do you like about your about how you handle experiences? Are you someone that always has fun? Are you someone that's meets different types of people, and you meet different styles of people? Like, you got to first figure out what you like about yourself. And it's not about just being like so independent where you don't feel that you can have other people in your life, or you don't need other people. Like, the point is for you to be able to value yourself in a way to where you shouldn't have to have other people to make you happy, but there's nothing wrong with them coming into your life and being able to help expand on your value. I don't feel like I need anybody. I need God. And growing up, you've needed your family because they're the ones that birthed you. So your parents are the ones that's supposed to be able to provide you with guidance through your life. And then you can definitely need and there's going to be certain times where you depend on their guidance as you continue to grow. But once you become an adult, you are truly responsible for yourself at that point. But as far as like what you need, especially if you believe in the Holy Spirit, God's going to give you what you need, but you also got to be someone that's a doer. And oftentimes people want to pray, do all these things, and go through all these different classes and everything, but you got to be able to, or listen to all these different types of videos and all that. You've got to be able to put your best foot forward. You've got to be something, just like my last video said, where you've got to invest into yourself. There's nothing wrong. Actually, going back to the class, there's nothing wrong with going in and taking classes, doing whatever. You've got to be someone that's willing to invest into yourself. You got to be someone that, for what you're asking for, you're willing to put that time in. If you're single as well, I feel like that's the time where you work on looking your best, feeling your best. That's where you work on really building the best you. And if somebody comes along that can compliment you, that's just an extension to who you are, and that could just level you up even more. But I'm looking for anybody to come in and complete me. I've got to complete myself. I've got to be complete with God. I got to be complete with how Demarcus wants to be in this world. There's nothing that anybody else can do to complete me. If I'm not complete before I step into any scenario with anyone, then I'm going to utilize something that they can bring or whatever and feel as if that's the factor to move me forward. And that's not going to do it. That's going to eventually result in resentment, especially if they do something that's off the wall or something that just goes against how I feel. That's going to turn into betrayal, and that's going to turn into me lowering my value because now I'm lowering my standards to what somebody else can bring versus me coming in bringing my best self and accepting them for their flaws and accepting them for their differences between both of us, and vice versa, them doing that with me and saying, you know what, we're building on that. But singleness should be a time when you really enjoy it. It shouldn't even be a time where I've got to compare myself to somebody that's married, somebody that found a partner earlier than I did, somebody that has a family. That don't even mean that somebody's way more well off in life. That don't mean that somebody's gotten closer to God. That don't mean none of that. And oftentimes, from a spiritual standpoint, especially when we think about, you know, I'll talk about it because being a Christian, people just always want to make it seem like that they're doing so much better because they're living by these so-called laws that makes them be on a certain type of pedestal, or because in the Bible it says you find a good thing, you find a good thing, you find a wife. If you find There's all these things in the Bible where it talks about, yes, as you continue to grow and these resources or these things in life that can become of value, but it never says because you get to that level faster than another person that you are well or more well off. Where does it say that? Because oftentimes what we don't see is we don't see behind the scenes where when some of the people that are married, where they're in miserable marriages, some people that do have kids where they've given so much to everybody else where they resent having kids and they resent being married because they never had time for themselves. And we see what people is out here wilding now. People that are in marriages and everything, ending them just because they want to be hot girls and hot boys because they ain't never had that type of attention or experiences. People can pay for stuff now, so you having where social media is showing cheating culture like it's nobody's business. You have where it's showing how people have been married for forever can just end it because they feel like it's was it they feel like irreconcilable differences. I think that's what it is. But they feel like there's so many differences within the marriage, and oftentimes it may just be because they ain't never felt validated. Because they can go out here and post on social media, people can like their photos, they can have these materialistic things. Now they've had a type of validation they've never received, but they never loved themselves. Because at the end of the day, what is the point of focusing so much on getting all of this validation over here and you feeling so down about yourself or you not valuing yourself enough and feeling as if that's going to bring you to a higher level? It's not going to do nothing for you. You've got to be able to see that within yourself. But that's the point about being single. I think you should love being single because that is a time in your life where you get a chance to focus on you. There's nothing wrong with going out and dating. If you want to be able to have some situationships, if you want to be able to just be friends, platonic or whatever, like enjoy that, embrace it. Even as someone that's spiritually led, hey, I've had situationships. I've had sex before marriage. Yeah, in the Bible it says that's something that you're not supposed to do, but I'm not perfect. I'm not coming on any of these platforms to make it to try to make it say like I have been. I'm someone that smokes, drink, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's times where I enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy it. But at the same time, that's also me learning more about myself during the singleness. There's people that don't do that. But I think it's not about a tit for tat in which you don't do. It's how are you learning about yourself and embracing yourself. There may be somebody that can listen to this and say, oh, well, why do you need all that? Why do you got to do any of those things to enjoy yourself? Like, at the end of the day, I could say, why does somebody else do other things to enjoy themselves? But the biggest point that I'm making here is saying that singlehood is something that you should enjoy. All these experiences I've had with women, like that doesn't, at the end of the day, like those are some fun moments, and those are times and experiences where I can be able to look back and say that I've enjoyed. But that doesn't make me more of a man. That doesn't get me in a sense further in life. Like maybe some of the women that I have experienced, like the things that we've done together and the things that we share, there's probably ways in which we both definitely leveled each other up, but that doesn't make me more of a man. That doesn't make me more valuable in life. But it did give me a chance to be able to learn what I like and didn't like. It did give me a chance to get out and date, to understand where um, where I'm at in my life. It gave me a chance to understand what type of partner that I would want, what type of partner that I would enjoy, like what type of partner is in alignment with me. Like that's what singleness is about. But trying to compare it, trying to say, oh, well, this person ain't working over here, all these negative dating podcasts and relationships, I just don't subscribe to it. And again, I'm not sitting here looking for love. If I'm able to be in a great relationship and able to fall in love with a woman one day, that'll be beautiful. Why? Because I know that DeMarcus is going to bring his best self. I know as a man, I'm going to show up with principle. I'm going to show up with love and care because, especially if I get married one day, I'm putting it on the line and I'm vowing to say that this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. But I know that I'm going to say, can also say that DeMarcus has enjoyed himself and has continued to put time into himself to where he can truly value that. I'm not looking for a woman to bring value to me, or I'm not looking for a woman to complete me in a level to where she's bringing something that I don't have. I want her to compliment. She might be way better in something that I'm not. A woman can make way more money than me. She can be way more confident in certain type of areas. She can help to be an extension. She can help to level me up in different type of ways, which we both should be doing for each other. But I don't need that to complete me. I got to feel completed within myself. And get into the relationship piece. There's nothing wrong with if you're in a relationship. Oftentimes people are so focused on trying to be single and mess with any and everybody. Bro, having somebody that you can vibe with and somebody that sees you for you and somebody that truly embraces who you are, that's a beautiful thing. I'm someone where when it comes to even being single, like I'm not trying to mess with tons of girls at the same time. There may be moments where you have like, a couple that you messing with or something like that. But really for me, in moments that I'm known to being single or that I focus or in moments that I've been single, you're really having a period of time to where you're spending most of your time with, for me, with one woman. You're spending majority of the time with her. And at the end of the day, it's like I'm not even trying to be out here wilding because wilding is not going to get me any type of it's not going to get me anywhere. But when you think about as far as like, and I'm saying that as far as relationships, like if you have somebody that you're with, you got to really embrace that. But it's also finding somebody that's very compatible with you. Because at the end of the day, it's cool to be able to have, for me as a guy, it's cool to have a woman that can cook, clean, all that type of stuff. But like at the end of the day, those are things that there's many women out here that they can do. That's something that, or if a woman can't cook but she's really eager to learn how to cook, that's something I can teach her. Cool. But a woman that truly embraces me for me, that values me, that's aligned spiritually with me, but also is willing to work through the hard things in life, and we're able to get through the hard struggles together, but we know that the love is so pure that we're willing to do that. That's what I value. And at the end of the day, until I get to a point to where I'm able to find it on that type of level, then I'm not going to be in a relationship. I'm going to enjoy myself, be single, and that's what it is. But I'm never going to devalue or relationships or even put, when I get into a relationship, devalue singleness because it don't even make sense. You've got to do what works for you. And I feel that at the same time, even going through experiences like, yeah, I've had some shitty experiences. I've had some experiences that were off. I've had some that were really good. But at the same time, it's like because of one experience where a woman may have did me a certain type of way, doesn't mean every woman in the world is like that. It don't even make sense. I've been treated wrong. I've been done wrong in some situations, but that doesn't mean every woman in the world is like that. But you also have to get to a point to where you can realize that. When you're younger, when I was younger, I was like, man, some of these women, they just ain't shit. I said that in my early 20s. There was some points where I was like, man, these women ain't shit. But One thing my dad reiterated to me multiple times, he said, "Man, Marcus, you in this learning phase, my guy." He's like, "Man, you just ain't even been in the environment yet, or you haven't been in some other spaces where you can see that there's other women of value out here." And once I started to really click that early, like kind of midway through college, I said, "Man, Dad, you are so right." Because at the end of the day, as you continue to move forward, you are also responsible for what you allow in your life, and who you allow yourself to give time to, or who you allow to get your time. And for me, it's just like, okay, like that's where it comes to holding yourself responsible, holding yourself accountable. No matter what, I can't go out here and say that all women are shit or all women ain't shit because of any type of experience that I have. I've got to make sure that I'm aligning myself in the best way, or making sure that if something does happen, that I'm choosing a better option. I'm looking at flags next time. Like there's too many conversations about saying that somebody ain't this and somebody ain't that, but you obviously can't take away the hurt that some people experience and the betrayal. Like I've been betrayed before, but at the same time, in me knowing that, there's also flags that I realized early on that I didn't focus on. So it'd be different if somebody's completely blindsided you, but there's things in which I've known that didn't make sense, that didn't add up, but I allowed myself to stay in that situation anyway. There's no wrong with feeling hurt, pissed off, and frustrated when it ends, but at the same time, there's going to be a big piece where I have to say, DeMarcus, you knew this. You knew that you gave too much of your time. You know that you were in this longer than it should have been. That's on you. Even though that she may have did something to you in this type of way. So the biggest thing for me when it comes to like relationships and being single, I don't think that it's one size better than the other. I think that when you're single, value yourself, and then if you're in a relationship, like find somebody that's compatible and that's super dope. And I don't think that the timeline matters. Like all these conversations about like, oh, well, somebody should have had somebody and this and that. Like it's different if I know that we're gonna oftentimes it's said like women have way more guys in their life because of um way more guys that they could have like went after and stuff like that versus guys. And I feel like that's true to an extent. Like there's going to be way more women are going to have way more options than guys that's going to show attraction towards them than us as guys are going to have women come up to us. Unless you're a celebrity guy, but like a woman, she could have 20 or 30 dudes that can just like swarm over her versus like, you maybe have to be a celebrity guy to have 20 or 30 that's just going to keep inboxing you. That don't mean that those are valuable options. That don't mean that those are quality options. But the point is that that's not every woman's experience. That's not every man's experience. There's women out here that are beautiful women where they may have they're not very outspoken. There's someone that's very, very dope, but they're not trying to be out here clout chase. There may be a guy where he's like, "Hey man, I'm someone that I love to be outside and I love to enjoy myself, but I'm not trying to, even though I'm extroverted, I'm not trying to be a clout chaser." So because of how he shows up, maybe because he don't have a high level of status, he may not get approached as much as he should by women. At the end of the day, there's going to be different situations for different people in life, but it shouldn't always come down to, oh well, what was you doing? Why was you not pouring time into yourself? I've seen a few different threads where women were talking about, why as a guy are you single? You got money, but you focusing on yourself. And why would you why would that not be something great to see in a man? A man that can be locked into his work, a man that can focus on him, make sure that he's getting in shape, make sure that he's looking and being the best man that he can. So when he does get his woman, that he's of true value, and he's a man that can show up in a way that's it's inevitable. Like, why would you not want that? But oftentimes we've lived in a society where it's tricked people to think that you got to have something, a certain thing at a certain type of time. And I hate that shit. I cannot stand it because oftentimes when you see the concept more and more, it starts to shift your mind a bit. I've had moments where I'm like, I start to kind of fall into that. I'm like, man, that's crazy. That's BS. Because I know that for me as a man, where I'm at in my life and the work that I've done to 29, I know emotionally I put in so much work. When it comes to emotional intelligence, being there for a woman, like I've literally, and this is not even to put myself on the pedestal. When it comes to emotional intelligence, I've had a high level of emotional intelligence more than most of the women that I've even been in the presence of. And that's because of the way in which I've been able to really allow myself and truly be able to work on myself and look at life and listen to people in my life. And so many women would be just so shocked by that. I've never seen a man show up like this. How can a man do this? I've never even seen women show up like this. And it's because it's not even a man or woman thing, it's a person thing. Oftentimes, like, I feel like for when it comes to our women, they're ones that are natural nurturers. They're ones that naturally are put into the category of focusing on emotions. But the men in my life, especially my father, have allowed me to be so emotionally aware and present that I'm able to show up and have feelings and emotions. I feel like naturally women are going to have higher levels of emotional intelligence, but as far as men, we're going to have higher levels of self awareness. But and there's some women as well too, where as far as the emotional intelligence we match. But for me as a man, especially how the world talks about emotional intelligence, I have a high level of emotional intelligence because I'm also going to be present. If I got a woman in front of me, as far as doing things, as far as me, if I'm in a relationship, as far as us being able to share tasks or whatever, like I'm a man that wants to be present. Like I want to do things. I don't want to just see my woman cooking, my woman cleaning. Like as a man, no. Like we should be able to cut each other's what is it? Take over each other's slack. Whatever I should be able to do, whatever she can should be able to do in the house, I should be able to do. There may be tasks in which I may be more equipped to do. There may be tasks in which she's more equipped to do, but it shouldn't be to where she feels like she's on the island by herself. That don't make sense. No woman should just be the only one cooking in the crib. I'm happy as a man if my woman can cook and she wants to cater to me, but I should be able to cook some basic things for myself. If I'm having children, she shouldn't be the only one that should be knowing how to hold the baby or knowing how to be able to take care of the child. I should want to be intrigued and know how to do that. I should, as a man, I should be happy to go to the store for her to be able to get tampons when she's on her cycle and not be pissed off if I end up getting the wrong things because I'm trying to surprise her and say that I've done something for the day. She tells me that's not the right one. Why? Because I need to learn my woman. I need to learn what she needs because there's going to be a time to where she may not be able to. And especially as far as men, there may be moments where we're not thinking ahead. So why would I not want to be a man that can think ahead and get my woman what she needs? Like I want to be present like that. So at the end of the day, um, I feel when it comes to just relationships and stuff, like I just can't subscribe to all the podcasts, the negativity, and just about like why somebody ain't having something at a certain type of moment. Listen, there's been people that don't want to admit that they've let good people go out of thinking that they need something better or because of ego. And we do see where I can say that I do see where there's more women that have talked about this on podcasts and stuff like that, where they didn't want a guy because of a certain type of height or because he didn't do the certain type of job or whatever. At the end of the day, you're just going to be single. If you had these little tit for tats. The same way for guys, it's like, oh, well, she didn't have this type of look, or she wasn't this type of woman. It's like there's nothing wrong with having preferences on both sides, but like I feel like a preference is something that should at least be something that somebody can control. Like at the end of the day, it's like somebody can get more fit, but somebody can't get taller. At the end of the day, like I don't know. Sometimes some of the preferences is like it's just things you can like somebody's height. Like I think if somebody's compatible with you, like what is the height going to do at the end of the day? It's like to completely shun somebody from height. That don't make sense. To say like, hey, I would maybe like somebody a bit taller or a bit shorter, like, but to completely say that they have everything that you want, or they could be a true contestant or contender, not contender, but they could be someone that is truly compatible with you, and you knock them down because of that. I feel like that's very shallow. Or you knock them down because of I don't know, a certain type, I don't know, certain type of look or whatever. I just feel like it can be ignorant. But at the end of the day, that's not my situations. Like, and also too, I feel like something more that like if it's boundaries, right? Like if you somebody that doesn't want to do long distance, I don't think that that's an issue. See, there's different things that I feel are not problems. Like if it's distance, if it's where you and somebody have a different type of religion, if it's where a certain type of career, You know what I'm saying? If it's certain types of focuses, if it's where somebody's more where they don't want to fan, like there's different things like that. But for me, I've been in situations where when it comes to long distance, like I know for me and how I show up as a man and how present that I am, a woman's not going to be able to get the best of me, and that's been shown. And at the end of the day, there's many things that I can do, but for me as a man and how I value my woman, that's just something that's just not going to make sense for me. And as far as just like moving around and getting things done, like I just don't see the value in that for me personally. But if I come across a woman that's 5'2", 5'3", I'm not going to say that I wouldn't want her just because I would enjoy a woman that's 5'10", 5'11", or 6 foot. Like at the end of the day, if she's someone that values me and someone that's beautiful, someone that's that I'm attracted to physically, like I gotta do what it do because I can't just say like I want something better and better and better each time. Like if someone truly, if you're attracted to them physically and you value them and you are attracted to them emotionally, their mind and everything like that, man, I gotta do what it do. I can't just say, man, I gotta. If I find a woman that's 5'10" and we align in every type of way, but then there's a few different things off, or if I find a woman that's 5'4" and there's a few different things off, I gotta really see like what the value is there. If a few things is off, it's just like I don't know even what the example I'm trying to bring. Like um if it's a couple small things that just may be a bit different than what I'm used to as far as how she moves or whatever, that may be something we can work on. But if it's something like outlandish as far as like, hey, she has a crazy belief over here and we're just not aligned, that's different. But like if it's something, I think oftentimes when we think about as far as deal breakers, if it's something where I feel that you're being selfish in your approach, you're never going to find anybody. But if something where it's not something that can really change and it's not that big of a deal, I feel like that's totally different. But for what I've said here at the end, somebody else may feel it's subjective or it may be different. But the whole point of this was not to even get too far off track, but was to say, like, enjoy your singleness, enjoy being in a relationship. There's value in both areas. I'm not going to shun somebody for doing this and doing that. If somebody's out and they single and they out on a boat and a guy is having ass shaking his face by a couple of women, he's enjoying his best life. If a woman's going out and she's surrounded by different types of guys and she get a chance to shake her booty, you know what I'm saying, on the boat or whatever, she's enjoying her best life being single. That don't mean that either one of these people are less equipped to be married, or that doesn't mean that they're less valuable. They could be in a far better place than the person that's locked down, because the person that got locked down may have did it for just social interaction, just social acceptance. That don't mean that that the person that's in a relationship is more well off, they got more money or nothing like that. But the person that's in the relationship, they found somebody that's valuable to them and they've been rocking and everything like that. There's can be a chance where, as far as two people coming together and being in the same space and growing with each other, there can maybe be some leverage there, but that don't mean that those people are way better than the people that's single. Like at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you, but you got to enjoy who you are, and that's all that I'm focused on. So we're thinking about as far as dating, relationships, man, sometimes society and sometimes the way this forms from religion and all this type of stuff, it can make you feel as if you're behind or make you feel as if you're doing something wrong or as if your time ain't came yet. For me, I'm focused on enjoying my best life. I'm focused on making sure that I'm lining myself up to be well equipped to have a family one day. But at the same time, I'm not going to be one of these bitter dudes where if I get down to 35, 36, 40, if I haven't met someone that I feel is in alignment with me and someone that I could truly grow with, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to adjust there. But there's no reason for me to become bitter and feel as if like every woman in the world is trash, or because certain situations were handled a certain type of way that it's the end of the world. Like the goal is to live for me, but the goal is to also to be purpose driven and for me to continue to bring my best self, but for me to be happy with who I'm allowing myself to be. And I know that I'm putting my best foot forward each and every day. The man that I'm continuing to build, the markets that people get a chance to know and people get a chance to see, I love that person and I love him through the ups and downs. So even when other people are showing love or providing me with certain types of things, I'm being able to see that for myself first. Are there moments where you can go out where people can share something about you that you may not be able to see? Hell yeah, because we're critical of ourselves. But there's no way that I can go out and fully not love myself or fully devalue myself and then allow external validation to take over. That can't happen. And it doesn't happen for me. I continue to show up for me. I continue to take time to put into my journal. I look into the mirror and reflect. I hold myself accountable and I allow myself to be present. And I'm even working even more on setting different boundaries, allow myself to not be as critical as I have been in the past. Even with me being critical, I still showed up for myself in a dope type of way. But by taking peeling some more layers off of the onions or tomatoes, oranges, whatever type of fruit or vegetable you want to use, it's allowed me to be even more appreciative and allowed me to be even more happy and love being misunderstood. Because oftentimes the way in which I move, it's going to be misunderstandings because of how I choose to show up. A lot of people don't take time to pour into themselves. So how can they tell you how to pour into you? A lot of people are so caught up in other people. They're so caught up in what it means to be a part of something, but they're never a part of themselves. They want to be a part of a group. They want to be cool. They want to be a part of the cliques. They want to be a part of all these other things, but they don't value themselves. They want to go, guys want to go out here and get all these women and say that they was with such and such and such and such, but yes, she was. They were three or four of them was bad, but what about the five or six they messed with that didn't look like nothing because they wanted to try to be cool and tell their boys they was getting some ass. But then even with the bad ones, none of the women valued them, and they was spending money and doing all this other type of stuff to try to make themselves look good. And then now they ain't got no women there that could even say anything positive about them. You got these women that are so focused on all these guys that they with, or so focused on how much attention and stuff that they can get. That at the end of the day, they don't even value themselves. So when a real man comes into their life, the only thing that they can see is what is he doing for me? How much money is he spending? I can't be with a dude that does 50-50 because he don't value me enough. When this dude is willing to give you the world, but you so focused on the external validation, you don't even know what it looks like to have somebody that truly appreciates you and values you for who you are. Same all those dudes that was talking on that BS and all this and that was giving you the external validation. They ain't nowhere to be found. You don't even feel happy when they're in your presence. So who's truly winning? The people that's getting the validation, the people that's doing things to appeal and to appease the other people, are the ones that's valuing themselves and they're allowing life to flow in a way where, as they continue to make decisions, they're making it for them, but they're also making it and moving forward in a way where they're allowing people in their life as people that appreciate them, people that compliment them, and people that can stand on business to say that it's not just about trying to be the people that can stand on business that are saying, you know what, we're going to go into this valuing each other, and it's about what I would say community versus it being about just trying to get all this external stuff. It's community at the end of the day. Community has always been a point to say people are coming together, people are doing things for shared interests and shared values, and we're doing this to grow. That's how a relationship is. That's the same thing when you're single. We're both of those. If I'm single, I need a community. If I'm in a relationship, I need a community. But the biggest thing is I gotta feel value within myself and I gotta be appreciative for myself each and every day. And even moments when I may feel down, I gotta continue to love on me and value me to the point to where I can't look for any external thing, external person to complete me because I gotta feel complete before I go into anything, and everything else in my life serves as an extension. So this is another almost 40-minute episode. Um, yeah, I just when I'm just sitting and reflecting on life, like oftentimes I just sit back and I don't like to think that I'm perfect by any means. I'm someone that just listens and I go through experiences, and there's times where I say, you know what? I don't feel like that's for me. I don't feel like I do certain things that society or people try to say that everybody does. But I'm also willing to hold myself accountable to learn from life. Like it's not about trying to go out here and trying to be cooler than the next person, trying to be there's many people that I learn from, many people that I get inspired by that may not have a certain level of understanding of life that I have, or many people that have more money than me. All that there's different types of layers. Like there's no like me trying to just be this person that's just like no, that's trying to be so different to where I can't, nobody can understand. No, it's just me taking life into my own hands, me holding myself accountable, man. And I just think that we oftentimes can sit back and, especially for us folks that take time to pour into ourselves and that can really focus on what it means to live lives that we want, sometimes we can discredit ourselves because of the work that we've done, because of how other people haven't done that work yet. And that's why for my platform, it's me talking about who I am. And I go out and if it's going out and dating, like it's not just going with the flow. There's times where you may want to vibe, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm dating any type of woman, depending on what the situation is, I'm gonna go in always being open to a relationship. It depends on the vibe that I catch with the woman. It depends on the energy that she's bringing. But it's not me sitting here just wasting time. And there may be moments where I want to go and just have a good time. But I'm going to be real with my intentions up front. And I appreciate women that are like that as well, too. I appreciate being in the presence of a woman that just, where you can just be able to enjoy the time and embrace it. But I think, too, when it comes to dating and just overall with life, it's just always this thing of just getting to the end result so fast and just like it's wasting time if you're not doing something that's on this agenda and that agenda. But we've gotten away from being able to enjoy life, man. And it's really sad and it's really heartbreaking at times just to see like how information gets misconstrued and just see how like sometimes an opinion can just get people just and so distraught where they feel as if like they've got to attack people or just feel as if people are down and oftentimes like people's opinions can be moved in a way where because of their bad experiences they want to put that on everybody else. Like I just can't agree with that. Like I get if somebody's had a better experience in the area than I have, I'm happy for the person. If somebody's had a better experience dating someone than I have, like I'm happy for the person if it's somebody that I know or whatever. Like at the end of the day, man, like there's too much in life to be happy about. There's too much for us to focus on versus all the bullshit. And I mean, there's obviously so much that we can talk about, man. And this, I'm even going a bit longer than I expected, but I just think about like life and I'm like, wow, some of the things that we really put time and effort into oftentimes don't even make sense. Because what is my opinion on men ain't shit, women? What would that even do? All that's going to do is just create more bitterness in my head. And that's going to stop me from being able to find somebody. If I go out, man, and all I do is have bitterness or frustration because of the way a woman in the past has treated me, I'm not even going to be able to open up my mind to see what somebody or what a different woman could bring. If I get run into the same type of woman, even though I didn't maybe see her type of motives and stuff up front or whatever, like then I gotta realize for the third time I can't go with this type of woman. Everybody's not the same. Everybody isn't out to get people. Everybody isn't out to hurt people. Like sometimes, what they say, hurt people hurt people. Sometimes it's just about learning yourself, learning those flags, and really distancing yourself. And for me as a man, I'll talk about this in another episode. I've learned to be able to really appreciate and take care of my time, and me giving less time to people, less time to certain to potential relationships, dating, less time to certain type of friendships and stuff like that. It's allowed me to feel so much more happy, even though I was happy. It's allowed me to become even more happy with where I allow my time to go. Again, I ain't ever been a dude that's out here trying to be reckless and trying to like mess with a crazy amount of women. I've had experiences, don't get me wrong, but like that doesn't fulfill me. Because also at the same time as a guy, I know that I can't be giving every woman my time. Every woman don't deserve this time. Every woman don't deserve to be in a presence with a man that's really taking time to emotionally get this depth and to emotionally focus on themselves. Because you see how so many talk about men anyways that don't have emotional intelligence, that aren't emotionally available. So a woman that truly deserves that, I feel like I'm a man that's going to truly deserve it. So whenever things happen in the way that they should, they will. I'm someone that enjoys being single. I love the single life, and I know that whenever I find um, the woman that's for me, I know I'll love that as well too, especially for someone that can compliment me and someone that values me because I'm gonna do the same. So at the end of the day, if you're someone out there, you've got to this end of the episode. There's been many points where I was like, let me stop because I feel like the message was hitting good, and then I said some more and it was hitting good and it was hitting good. Um, but if you got to the end of this message, man, continue to be able to pour into yourself, love who you are, value who you are, and truly enjoy like what you're bringing. Because if you're someone that truly values yourself and you're loving different aspects of life, you're going to love that even more when you're in the presence of other people that truly value you. And what else would you want? Like, so it's your boy DeMarcus, man. We're out of here. We're 45 minutes and some change on the dot, but hopefully y'all find value in this episode. If anybody gets to it, I may split it up into a couple parts, but I actually like this one. But this is when it comes to talking about dating and singleness and stuff like that. This is probably the most that I'll get to on a topic. Like I just feel as if there's so much of that type of content. With the end of the day, it's just not even worth just like going down these rabbit holes about like all this other type of stuff. Yeah, we can have conversations about what some men and some women don't do, but it's really something at the end of the day where you can't dive into it too much because it just reveals things about other people where they haven't taken the time to work on or hold accountability for. So it's your boy DeMarcus, man. It's the life of a multifaceted. We are out of his ear. Out of his ear.